Sorry, my people, the system we have shut down, but we are back. Sorry for that coming back after we have moved, but it's okay. It's what we are doing. So far, we are here at this hour. We must continue. So please, sorry about that. Let's continue what we are doing. Continue liking and sharing the program. We are back. We are back like never before. It is very imperative that no matter what happens, we continue what we are doing. But the key of what we are doing is no matter what's happened, that we continue doing what we as the people of Biafra is doing. Chigozie, thank you so much. Chigozie, you're just such a brother, honestly. Always, always. Joseph, thank you so much. You're welcome to Hallow's platform back, the people of Biafra. Like I said, if you are not getting my notification anymore or getting my message anymore, please just endeavor to send me message on my WhatsApp number plus 9733605137. Please endeavor to send hi there so we will add you on WhatsApp group. So where we'll just share the message once and we move. Remember where we are before we have shutting down. We are about to read the histories of countries that what bring their leader that was incarceration out was the declaration. Our own is real declaration, but their own was declaration. So if only declaration brings leaders out and changes their status, that is the same thing in our own. There's the former, not remove network. I have shut down from my system. So before I will continue, I have to. That one has become another different program altogether. So that is what really happened. Nothing more than that. So on the stage where we are, the people of Biafra, we must continue on the side of standing on our mandate of our real declaration of United State of Biafra. It is very imperative. And that is the only one thing we have. We did not have two things. And that is only what and other countries has done in the past. Before I move on straightly, let me refresh the minds of those that will come on this second phase of this program after shutting down. We want to ask you who believe in IPO, you who believe in DOS, please tell us in the history of all the existing countries, the way DOS and IPOB is moving. Tell us, where has this thing, this way we are moving, has make people to get a country or to get recognition or to UN to announce them that because of the agitation, because of the protest, and only because of their doing protests and their leader was arrested, sentenced life imprisonment, that only that give them the guarantee to become a new country without declaration. One. Then for you who are in fallback Ogenkere, please bring out the history of a country that after their declaration, they fall back and they remove their leader and put another leader because of the leader was incarceration. And that gives them That makes the leader to be released, and that make them to get recognition, becomes a new country, becomes a country. Then you in BGC that never believe in their declaration, we had only been in Ezra government without the declaration has triggers you to achieve international recognition and become a country. Just give us in a country where it has happened. Then for I myself, who seriously believe in the declaration of United State of Biafra, then I will present to you 15 countries that what give them recognition or they become a country is what? The declaration. The declaration. That is what I can prove to you. So I want us to do it in this way. Not just being, I am supporting this group, I am in this group. The question should be, the group you are supporting or the individuals that are telling what you are listening to, that thing or that word they are telling you, where has it happened in the past? Because of we are fighting for Biafra as a country. The question is, can all the UN Charter and their law change because of us? Can EU laws change because of we are fighting for Biafra? Can the AU change because of we are fighting for Biafra? So please, why are we continuously proving on the ignorance of people of Africa, a black man? What are that one thing? Can you tell us that one thing that changes the status of a leader who is incarceration? Can you tell us that? Can you prove to us that by falling back is why Maghandi, why India was a country, and why Maghandi was released from prison? Can you tell us, is it falling back without declaration is why Jomo Kenyatta of Kenya was released from prison? Is it people of that fight against apartheid regime through Nelson Mandela? Is it this way that you are going? Is how Nelson Mandela was released and they changed the apartheid regime and he became the president of South Africa? Is it this way that you are parading this your so-called Biafra you want? Is how Rahman of Bangladesh was released from the prison? Then, what is that one thing that changes the status of every leader who is fighting for a new country that was arrested before the country got recognition? And what one step that leads to recognition? What is that thing that is going to bring recognition? If I may ask you, the time is moving very fast. The earlier, the better for you. Without wasting time, we must go into the program right now. Like how we normally do it. We first play the audio voice and we allow it to go. There is only one thing that changes Maghandi charge against Britain. Remember, any leader who is fighting for a new country, all of them, the world charges all of them only one thing. they will charge them terrorists. They will charge them inciting violence. They will charge them fraud. They will charge them rebel. These are the things that will lead to sentence. What is that one thing that will changes this leader be imprisonment? What is that one thing that changes all these things that they are passing through from? That is why at this stage that we are into, we all, if you really want Biafra, we know that the only one thing is what was happened in November 29, 2024 is the only solution, is the only remedy, is the only savior for Mazi Nnamdi Okwu Kanu, for Simon Ekpa Njoku, and for you as a Biafran. Without that, you go nowhere. Then why are you continuously delaying the movement that you're supposed to help and do the right thing for us to achieve our new country? Why are you purposely delaying the movement? You are ignorance, you are stupidity, you are greediness, you are envy, you are jealousness, you are hatred, you are undermining the truth will not stop recognition once the criteria has been there for us to meet. And once we have met this criteria, then the solution comes. I want you to tell yourself the truth. That when you born a new baby, are you waiting for 18 years before you will give she or he a name? Or immediately you born that child, you call her or he by the name that the world we use to recognize your son or your daughter? What changes from the one that we're into? That after our declaration, instead of us to introduce ourselves as people of United State of Biafra, then you are there trying to do the other way around. My brother is asking me a question on the comment section. The letter is coming from Donald Trump direct. Our people like to argue because of you did not trust yourself. That is why you cannot trust someone. But if you trust yourself, you will trust someone. When Abato Obie is here, Simon Ekpa Njoku is here with us. When he make us to know that we have an office somewhere in US, even people that went there said it's not true. Even the people that went to that office come and said it's not true. What happened at last? Is it true? A lot of things has happened to teach us a lesson. The syndrome of hear and forget and our own selfish interest and our own ignorance in everything is why we ask too many questions without us thinking in the first place. So when you cannot trust yourself, you can never trust others. The program that brings us here today is Declaration of a New Country. is only what changes a leader who was sentenced to life imprisonment status. And also that declaration is what gives a new country international recognition in the past and in the present. That is one thing. So as we are moving right now, please pay attention. What the declaration that took a place in Helsinki, Latvia, Finland, November 29, 2024, what that thing stands for. Forget about Ngozi Orazabeze right now. Focus on the issue of our declaration and how it has helped others in the past. How it helps Jomo Kenyatta of Kenya. How it helps Mahatma of India. How it helps Rahman of Bangladesh. How he helped the Zimbabwe in their own time. And how he helps Nelson Mandela. You don't understand. Remove this Ngozi from your mind. And I also want to tell you that in the past, woman has declared many countries in the past, and today they are existing countries. Those countries achieved recognition from the UN. They did not stop recognizing them because it was being declared by a woman. And also a woman happened to be the leader. My brother, that is what it is. So listen, this platform, we are here to give you the histories of those that they become a country today because of act of a formal declaration. Now, let us see the weight of the declaration and how this has helped many countries in the past to achieve their official recognition. And how also, these have helped the leaders who are in castration being released. And how it helps to change their status from charging them treason, felony, rebel, fraud, inciting violence. Let us see how declaration serves this. And how declaration is the only key that leads for you to become a country. There is 3 ways of this. There is 3 ways of this. You have declaration of independence. You have a peace treaty. You have a proclamation of amnesty. Listen to this on the audio voice I'm going to play and see what I'm about to read. I hope you are seeing it. You can see number 1, transformation. So pay attention. For you to know reason why that only USB were declared is the everlasting solution to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, to Mazi Simon Ekpa Njoku, and all the Biafrans that are in prison in Nigeria. Listen, we move.
A formal declaration, whether it is a declaration of independence, a peace treaty, or a proclamation of amnesty, is often the only thing standing between a leader being viewed as a criminal and being viewed as a head of state. When a leader is in prison, they are under the legal jurisdiction of the power that arrested them. A declaration changes the entire game board in 3 critical ways. 1. Legal transformation, from traitor to statesman. Without a formal declaration, a freedom fighter is legally classified by the ruling power as a terrorist, insurgent, or traitor. The shift, a declaration of independence or a formal peace accord, creates a new legal reality. It acknowledges that the prisoner is no longer a subject of the old regime, but a representative of a sovereign entity. Amnesty. Most declarations include a general amnesty clause. This legally wipes away the life sentence, making it possible for the leader to hold office without a criminal record hanging over them. 2. Diplomatic recognition. The seat at the table. A leader cannot govern from a cell, and other countries cannot easily negotiate with a prisoner. Sovereignty. Once a country is declared independent, that leader becomes a personage of state. International law starts to protect them. Pressure. A declaration gives the United Nations or neighboring countries the legal standing to demand the leader's release, arguing that a sovereign nation cannot have its president held captive by a foreign power. 3. Moral and psychological legitimacy. For the people fighting on the ground, a declaration is the finish line. Validation. It proves that the leader's sacrifice, the years in prison, was worth it. Authority. It provides the mandate needed to transition from a rebel commander to a civilian administrator. For example, when Nelson Mandela was released, the declaration of a new democratic framework was what ensured he wasn't just out of jail, but was the rightful authority to lead the transition. Why the life sentence specifically matters. When a leader is sentenced to life imprisonment, the ruling power is trying to bury the movement by removing its head. A declaration acts as a resurrection. 1. It admits the old law has failed. 2. It nullifies the life aspect of the sentence, because the legal system that issued the sentence no longer has power over that person. 3. It turns the prison cell into a waiting room for the presidency. Would you like to see the specific wording used in a famous declaration, like Kenya's or South Africa's, that led to a leader's release?
I hope you are following. I hope you are following me, and I hope you are listening. This our declaration. Remember that our own is real declaration. How this real declaration of United States of Biafra is only what will change the status of the charges that the government is using against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. How only this real declaration is what will quickly changes the status of our Prime Minister, Simon Ekpa Njoku. Pay attention. And how only this real declaration is what we brought UN and the nearby countries to recognize Biafra, USB, as a new state. But three good things that you will take home from this particular history line. Then we will now go to how it helped someone like Jomo Kenyatta of Kenya, how he helps Nelson Mandela, how he helps the Zimbabwe, their leader, how he helps many people in the past, and how the declaration is only remedy to achieve international recognition, also to UN to talk about people of United States of Biafra. These are the areas that you may understand the weight and the value of our real declaration on this stage that we are into. We move. Listen again before we go into analysis.
A formal declaration, whether it is a declaration of independence, a peace treaty, or a proclamation of amnesty, is often the only thing standing between a leader being viewed as a criminal and being viewed as a head of state. When a leader is in prison, they are under the legal jurisdiction of the power that arrested them. A declaration changes the entire game board in three critical ways. 1. Legal transformation, from traitor to statesman. Without a formal declaration, a freedom fighter is legally classified by the ruling power as a terrorist, insurgent, or traitor. The shift, a declaration of independence or a formal peace accord, creates a new legal reality. It acknowledges that the prisoner is no longer a subject of the old regime, but a representative of a sovereign entity. Amnesty. Most declarations include a general amnesty clause. This legally wipes away the life sentence, making it possible for the leader to hold office without a criminal record hanging over them. 2. Diplomatic recognition, the seat at the table. A leader cannot govern from a cell, and other countries cannot easily negotiate with a prisoner. Sovereignty. Once a country is declared independent, that leader becomes a personage of state. International law starts to protect them. Pressure. A declaration gives the United Nations or neighboring countries the legal standing to demand the leader's release, arguing that a sovereign nation cannot have its president held captive by a foreign power. 3. Moral and psychological legitimacy. For the people fighting on the ground, a declaration is the finish line. Validation. It proves that the leader's sacrifice, the years in prison, was worth it. Authority. It provides the mandate needed to transition from a rebel commander to a civilian administrator. For example, when Nelson Mandela was released, the declaration of a new democratic framework was what ensured he wasn't just out of jail, but was the rightful authority to lead the transition. Why the life sentence specifically matters. When a leader is sentenced to life imprisonment, the ruling power is trying to bury the movement by removing its head. A declaration acts as a resurrection. 1. It admits the old law has failed. 2. It nullifies the life aspect of the sentence because the legal system that issued the sentence no longer has power over that person. 3. It turns the prison cell into a waiting room for the presidency. Would you like to see the specific wording used in a famous declaration, like Kenya's or South Africa's, that led to a leader's release?
Remember what we are discussing. The declaration. The only one thing that serves for purpose. Declaration. The only one thing that serves what? For cardinal points. What are these 4 cardinal points? We are going to be taking it one after another, so we all may understand. Like I asked this question, it's a time to start asking any group claiming he's fighting for Biafra after our real declaration as what? The finishing line. You had it here. That the declaration of a new country is a finishing line. I see you, Tina Wine. Good evening from here. Agonna, thanks so much. Good evening. I see you. Thank you. You're welcome. Why our people are not paying attention? I continuously challenging IPOB organization to come out, give us one example of a country that only protests and Colin Onyendu has made that group to automatically to see as a country in the eyes of international community. That is one question. And one country where it has given them, where it has made them to become a country. Number 2, IPOB organization, please show us one country that the leader who is fighting for a freedom of his people by building or creating a new country has been released through a legal process. 2, IPOB organization, I challenge you or I dare you to prove to us a country in the world, one country in this world, that their leader was released because those that he left outside was taking instruction from the oppressors. If you can answer me these 3 questions with evidence on a country or a particular leader where it has happened, I will shut down this YouTube. I challenge you, Fallback Bridge. Give us example of those that when their leader was arrested, that without declaration, that when their leader was arrested, without declaration that their leader was released. And because of falling, they fall back. And that is how they got recognition before they start answering the name of the new country. If you prove it for me, and it has happened in the history, I will shut my YouTube page down. No, never to talk again. And I will join you. And also, if I prove to me a leader, a group that is fighting for a new country, and when their leader was arrested, sentenced to prison, that's what brings the leader out was removing that leader and putting a new leader. If you can give me that country that has happened, then I will shut my YouTube page down. I challenge. I dare all of you. Then the so-called BGC, if you can prove to me that leader who was inside and their people refused to make declaration and they continue to remain and be waiting for him to come out, and he come out, continue to fight, that he is only one that can be able to achieve recognition. And if you know the country where it has happened, I dare you to bring it out. I will shut this YouTube down. Because this madness, this ignorance of our people has becoming unaccepted. Also, tell me that country that have achieved their country without declaration. Without declaration of that country. And he told me that country that when their leader was incarceration, the people refused to make declaration. These are my questions to these three inconsequential and the ignorant group and the infrastructure group, stomach infrastructure group, and the endless agitation group that USB had become the end point and the end and the finishing of Biafra movement. Now we go into our analysis fully. We play, we pause, we analyze it. I know why I went back for the declaration back. On this stage that we are into, I know the reason why. But the time has come for us to challenge all these inconsequentials and ask them questions. Please, if you join me, like and share the program, subscribe on the YouTube page. Thank you so much. Listen.
A formal declaration, whether it is a declaration of independence, a peace treaty, or a proclamation of amnesty, is often the only thing standing between a leader being viewed as a criminal and being viewed as a head of state.
Are you listening? A formal declaration, whether it is a declaration of independence, a peace treaty, or proclamation of amnesty, is often the only thing standing between a leader being viewed as a criminal and being viewed as a head of state. Without declaration, without peaceful treaty, without proclamation of amnesty or that new country like India did, that leader is viewed as what? A criminal, a terrorist, a rebel, a traitor. But with declaration, he was being viewed as a head of state. With declaration, the leader viewed as what? A head of what? A state who is in incarceration. For all of you who is against the declaration of the USB, so you want Finland to continue charging Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Sorry, to continue charging Obatobi, Simon Ekpa Njoku, inciting terrorists and treason and the fraud. In common word, a common criminal. That is what all of you, IP, that's what you, the fallback Ogenkere and the PGC. That is what you are giving them leverage to charge him for. And because of that your attitude is why he was missing for 6 years. Because of the evidence all of you are sending to Finland without sending the declaration documents, without when they send the right document or the right evidence, all of you will counter it and ask Finland to throw it, that they should not use it. That is what all these groups are doing. And without standing on the mandate of the declaration, you are asking Nigeria to continuously, you IPOB, to be charging Mazi Nnamdi Kanu like a common criminal, like a terrorist leader, like a terror, like a rebel, like someone who is causing insecurity. That is what your action is proving to the world. You refuse to adopt or accept the real declaration that makes him a head of state and changes his status. It's only declaration, peace treaty, or proclamation of amnesty is what changes the leader status. Out of these three, which one did all of you accepted? Which one is the one that all of you are doing? Which one among them? You are the one that encouraged Nigerian government, Ribado, to go and buy VS Chemical. That the intention is to wipe the people of old Eastern region, the people of United States of Biafra away. Have you heard about this chemical that Nigerian government just of recently approved, and they imported it in Nigeria by Ribado? Do you know how powerful that chemical is? And do you know the area they want to use it for? The chemical that wipes away generation out. The chemical that dries every human being. And only what changes and what will stop this happening in our territory is our declaration. And all of you against it, giving them power. But we have taken the power by ourselves, and we are letting the world to know that if it's not, that the only one government we have is United States of Biafra, as only the right legitimate government of the new country called United States of Biafra that was re-declared November 24, 2029. Sorry, November 2024, the 29th of November. 29th November 2024 is only the rightful, legal, legit government that people of Biafra has.
When a leader is in prison, they are under the legal jurisdiction of the power that arrested them. A declaration changes the entire game board in 3 critical ways.
When a leader is in prison, they are under the legal jurisdiction of the power that arrested them, which is true. That is why Nigeria has power to sentence Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That is why Finland has power to sentence Obatobi. What can change it? A declaration changes the entire game board. A declaration is changing the entire game board in 3 categorical ways. In 3 ways that this declaration of the USB changes the status, everything about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, about Simon Ekpa Njoku, the Prime Minister, and the president, because the leader who is in prison, they said that while he was waiting for recognition and to be released, because of the action of his people outside, that he becomes a president in waiting in the prison. That's why I always use that word from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the president of. Now, in these three categorical ways of this declaration, very important and heavily weight it has. Listen, number one.
1. Legal transformation, from trader to statesman.
Listen. Number one, transformation from traitor to what? To statesman. From a traitor, from use that word, and it comes around all the things that Nigeria charges Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the president, or the Banjoko, the prime minister. Change it into statesman. There has become a statement. Let's continue.
Without a formal declaration, a freedom fighter is legally classified by the ruling power as a terrorist, insurgent, or traitor.
I listen. Without a formal declaration, a freedom fighter is legally classified by the ruling power as a traitor, insurgent. Sorry, classified by the ruling power as a terrorist, insurgent, or a traitor. Without re-declaration of the United States of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's entire case remains what? Insurgent, traitor, terrorist. When you refuse to accept their declaration, you are giving those, but you accepting the declaration of the USB is end and the finishing point that they are a president of a country. For how long are you going to continue doing what we are doing that is not bringing any fruit? For how long are you going to continue doing what we are doing that is making what we are doing has no meaning? Now that we have put the meaning into what we are doing, what are you still waiting for? I am doing this to remove Hadino in your life. I am doing this to remove Hadino in you. I am doing this to remove ignorance. I am doing this for you to remove hatred. But you will not, because when Chukwuemeka Odumegwu was fighting for Biafra, after his real declaration, after his declaration of the Biafra in 1967 to 1970, the first person that betrayed him was Nnamdi Azikiwe. So, before Ifeajuna. So, the lineage of Ifeajuna are the one that did not accept the declaration that it changes the status of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa. They accepted to continue to the ruling power to see them as terrorists, insurgents, or a traitor. So this is what we wish Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You who believe in the movement of Simon Ekpa, that is what you wish him. That is why you refuse to accept the declaration. That is why you are making yourself prime minister. Nobody knows tomorrow. Nobody knows tomorrow. Ndị be anyị si n'okwu Igbo n'echi dị ime n'ọkwọ nwa n'azụ. Ndị be anyị wee kwuo sị onye aṅụkwala amị na oyibo alabe. Onye aṅụkwala amị na oyibo alabe. You that is celebrating the arrest of Mazi Simon Ekpa, what will be of you tomorrow? Tell me if you know what will happen in the next 1 hour. If you know what will happen in the next 1 hour, then I will believe in you. Seriously. Stella, Azuaka, thank you so much. Azuaka, thank you. Yes, they must collect. The only thing, without a formal declaration, a freedom fighter is legally classified by the ruling power as a terrorist, insurgent, or a traitor. What are they charging Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? What are they charging Simon Ekpa? Now that we have what will change the status forever and ever, you are fighting against it because of your own stupidity, because of your own jealousness, because of you think in Igbo adage asina na ọnụ na-eri eri adọrọ mma ịkwụsa kama nke na-eri ga-akwụsa ka nke ribeghị mechie, because na ebe is opposition ka iwe na-enweta ego. The only business you have to do is to occupy position in Biafra movement. Sorry, that is no longer the time that we are into. Let's continue.
Shift, a declaration of independence or a formal peace accord, creates a new legal reality. It acknowledges that the prisoner is no longer a subject of the old regime, but a representative of a sovereign entity.
Are you hearing it? Without a formal declaration, a freedom fighter is legally classified by the ruling power as a terrorist, insurgent, or a traitor. The declaration shifts it into what? A declaration of independence or a formal peace accord creates a new legal reality. A declaration that we met on November 29, 2024 of independence of USB is what? Creating a new reality. It acknowledges that the prisoner is no longer a subject of the old regime, but a relative of a sovereign new entity that lack international recognition. So you don't want the status of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to change. You don't want the status of Abato Obie to change. That is why you are disgracing yourself and proving how the white man will see how stupidity you are. The white man will see how crazy. That is why they will keep on undermining the worth of a black man because of people like Chiamaka Ajere, Sonny Akwarawa, Imam Maduabu, Oge Nkere, Basi Okoma, Shiomo Okoma, Ruby Nnadi, and all these men. The world open eyes. Be watching all of you clearly every blessed day. And when they listen to you, they will knock their head. No. But when you call them to give them money, they will accept the money. Because they're on their own, you call them. Because they come for business. But only that one thing that changes everything is what all of you was against. Simply mean that you never meant well for Mazi Simon Ekpa from the beginning till now. Let's continue.
Amnesty. Most declarations include a general amnesty clause. This legally wipes away the life sentence, making it possible for the leader to hold office without a criminal record hanging over them.
Are you hearing it? Amnesty. Most declarations, including a general amnesty clause, the legal wipes away life sentence, make it possible for the leader to hold office without a criminal record hanging over them. What is our problem? Why the only way you choose is to become Ifajun of our time? Why the only way you choose is to become Naaman, to become Azikiwe of our time? Why? Why? In this 21st century. Please hit the like button as you join us. If you never like, please remember to like the program. We must continue.
2. Diplomatic recognition. The seat at the table. A leader cannot govern from a cell, and other countries cannot easily negotiate with a prisoner. Sovereignty. Once a country is declared independent, That leader becomes a personage of state. International law starts to protect them. Pressure. A declaration.
We are taking it one step at a time. Hello, yeah, my brother. Thank you so much for your super chat. May Elohim bless you, protect you, and nourish your pocket from where you bring it from. Thank you so much. I appreciate it in a big way. Thank you. So, when you are doing something, ask yourself question. This thing I'm doing, where has it happened before? After I have read this for you, this declaration, now I'm going to prove to you the countries in the world that the declaration has helped so much. That because of the declaration, they become a country. And the leader walk away, become the president, becomes the prime minister. Because of what? Because of the declaration. Because, as I told you, there is nothing we can do in this freedom that other peoples has never passed through that road before. We are not the first people, and we are not going to be the last people. So, I want you to know that you and your shenanigan will do nothing to this movement that we are into. Because everything at this stage is working in the favor of recognition of the United State of Biafra. Look at the way it goes. The people of India went through this road that we are passing today. People of Kenya, people of Namibia, people of Zimbabwe, and many more. We are not the first, and we are not going to be the last either. But I want you to know one thing. I want to assure you that if you are against this declaration, you will cry had I know at last. Check history. Check what? Check history. Let's continue.
Gives the United Nations or neighboring countries the legal standing to demand the leader's release, arguing that a sovereign nation cannot have its president held captive by a foreign power.
When other countries in the world make their declaration, their leader will be incarceration. Once they achieve recognition, the leader will be free from the prison. What happens into the UN? Pressure. A declaration gives the United Nations or nearby countries the legal standing to demand the leader's release. Argue that a sovereign nation cannot be having its president held captivity by a foreign power. When you hear our DPM raising her voice and said, Nigeria is occupying a foreign country because of you and your fallback and you and your shenanigan and you and your ignorance and you and your primitive and the envy, jealous and hatred and because of the access of you using Biafra to make money has come to an end, would not allow you to face the reality. The world are laughing at all of you. The world is what? Laughing at all of you that are today thinking on what you are doing that the world are laughing and you a disgrace to the movement of a freedom fighter. When other peoples, when people like India, people like South Africa, people of Kenya, people of Bangladesh, when the leader was arrested, it triggers them to move forward. All of you fall back and you fall on ground. Shame on all of you. And you run into BGC. Could you imagine that? All the lineage of Ifajuna, all the lineage of Zik, Nanda Zik Iwe, those that they give birth are the one doing all this group are seeing today. In time of Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, the internal leader, after he has declared Biafra as a country, Nnamdi Azikiwe was the first person that betrayed him before Ifajuna and the many of them in the history. My people, honestly, in USB is only the everlasting solution and the finishing line. Let us go into number 3.
3. Moral and psychological legitimacy. For the people fighting on the ground, a declaration is the finish line.
For you, Butuzo, for you, Gentle the Yahoo, for you, Owam, for you, Angel Makeup, Donald Trump, Netanyahu, is not a finishing point. The finishing point is declaration. The real declaration mandate of United States of Biafra. The declaration is a finishing point in the eyes of the international community, in the eyes of Donald Trump, in the eyes of Netanyahu, that we are calling. On the side of the Congo Zarabeze, but on your own side, Donald Trump, Netanyahu sees you as a rebel. He sees you as a criminal. He sees you as a collaborator. He sees you as a betrayer, all of you. The same way they tag Ogenkere. The same way they tag Imam Abu. The same way IPOB, one family, protest, agitation, one family. That is where he ended. No finishing point. Simon Ebanjoko, only the finishing point. Through the Congo Zarabeze real declaration of United States of Biafra, November the 29th, 2024, is the finishing point. Any military that take instruction from oppressor becomes a collaborator, becomes a tie, becomes a what? A spy, becomes what? Informant and toy. That is why the people of Biafra must stand on our right of peaceful disobedience. Sit at home must continue because it's our inalienable right. It's our self-referendum. It's also proved to the world that we never want Nigeria, that we have exit from Nigeria. That's what it is. Declaration is the hashtag. Please, why you are in spirit. Hashtag, the declaration is the finishing line. The declaration is what? Finishing line. Moral and the legitimacy. For the people fighting on the ground, a declaration is the finishing line. You will sleep in Nigeria, wake up in Biafra. That is what has happened. The reality on the ground. You are ignorant. You are stupidity. You are selfish. You are greediness. You are greediness. Your infrastructure stomach has destroyed all of you. And you want to tell us the other way around. Look at the truth, and this is the bitter truth. That is why we're here to give you the real truth. Let's continue.
Validation. It proves that the leader's sacrifice, the years in prison, was worth it.
Are you hearing it? Validation. It proves that the leaders like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Mas Simon Ekpa, that sacrificed the years in prison, what it? Without this declaration, all the castration of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is being worthless, is nothing. The declaration. Without the declaration, the sufferness of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the pains of kidnapping him, chain him for 7 days in Kenya is nothing. Losing his mother, his father is nothing. Losing his personal business is nothing. The same thing to Simon Ekpa Njoku. You who is running to Finland and ditching lies out. You who is doing propaganda. Gamgo, I went to Finland. I visited Batobie. He told me to tell Ngozi Arabeze to stay away about Biafra in social media. Look at you. Mwokoko.
Authority. It provides the mandate needed to transition from a rebel commander to a civilian administrator. For example, when Nelson Mandela was released, the declaration of a new democratic framework was what ensured he wasn't just out of jail, but was the rightful authority to lead the transition.
Are you hearing it? Every time you will be hear about Nelson Mandela, you will not look at the history of what people that believe that they must end apartheid regime in South Africa did in their own time. Why can't you go and check and know from there you can correct your mistake? Why can't you? Authority. Declaration. Declaration. Authority. Hashtag declaration. Authority. And finishing line. Declaration. Authority. Declaration. Hashtag declaration. Authority. And finishing line. It provides the mandate needed to transformation from a rebel commander, a terrorist commander, a treason commander, inciting commander, or inciting leader. It transforms it into what? Into a civil administrator. For example, when Nelson Mandela was released, the declaration of the new democratic framework was what ensured him that he was not just out of jail, but was the rightful authority to lead the transition that ends apartheid regime in South Africa. Listen. Listen. Fall back. Please bring them close. Tag all of them where they are. This is how they become Ifeanyi. The lineage of Ifeanyi, the lineage of Nnamdi Azikiwe, who betrayed Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, who Chukwuemeka sent to London to go and lobby. He went there and compromised and come back and start shouting one Nigeria. We are going to also give you the history of our own people tomorrow who betrayed Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu and the name they was calling him. The same thing you called Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The same thing they called Simon Ekpa Njoku. The same they are calling Ngozi Arabeze today is what they call Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu. Go to Google, type. Go to Chrome, type. What was the name that those who betrayed Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu and those who never won democracy in their country, what was the name they are calling Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu? Everything is in the history line. And the history is repeating. And is repeating on your side as a betrayer of the movement. Sorry, you, because you think that all of you could make Biafra to become a failed state for the second time.
Why the life sentence specifically matters. When a leader is sentenced to life imprisonment, the ruling power is trying to bury the movement by removing its head. A declaration acts as a resurrection.
Are you hearing it? Why the life sentence especially matters? When a leader is sentenced to life imprisonment, the ruling power is trying to buy the movement by removing its head. A declaration, a re-declaration acts as a restoration. As what? Restoration of that new movement. The declaration, not fall back, not IPOB organization. IPOB, one family. Where we are on the ground. Can you be on the ground and make declaration? Can you be on the ground and make declaration? Can you remain on the fallback and make declaration? Can you remain in BGC and the construction company to put on this level to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa Njoku? When a leader is sentenced to life imprisonment, the ruling power is trying to buy the movement by removing its leader. A declaration acts as a restoration. The declaration becomes the only hope of the people. Ben, I can see you. Thank you so much. Stella, I can see you. Ifani, I can see you. Obinna, I can see you. Thank you so much. Yes, Ijele, I want to thank you.
1. It admits the old law has failed.
That declaration proving that the old law that they will use to charge Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa has failed because of the what? The declaration that lack international recognition. Number 2.
2. It nullifies the life aspect of the sentence because the legal system that issued the sentence no longer has power over that person.
Are you hearing it? Are you hearing it? It nullifies the life aspect of the sentence because the legal system that issued the sentence no longer has power over that person. It does no longer have power in Nigeria because of what? The declaration. Because of what? The declaration. That is a restriction. That is restoration of a new country that are seeking for international recognition.
3. It turns the prison cell into a waiting room for the presidency.
Do you hear this last one? The declaration, it turns the prison cell into a waiting room for the president. That is why I keep on calling Mazi Nnamdi Kanu the president of United States of Biafra. The declaration has turned Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to become the president, Simon Ekpa the prime minister. And they are waiting for us to achieve recognition, to maintain the pressure that will bring them out. Yes. I will leave our number open in case if Biafra want to call. Number to call is +97 33 60 51 337. In case if you want to call, that is the number you can call to join us on this platform today, or to make your own contribution, put your voice into what we are doing to educate our people to know the right thing. to do. If you want to call us, you are free to call, and I have given you the number that you can call. Then your voice will be heard to the Biafran people will hear your voice. Now, after this, we just quickly go into the history of those countries that the declaration helped their leader to be released.
Would you like to see the specific wording used in a famous declaration, like Kenya's or South Africa's, that led to a leader's release?
Now, like I said, I will play it again. As I'm playing it, if phone call comes in, we will take. After playing it, if phone does not come, we go to like when I said that when I give you this our declaration, I so much believe that there is only everlasting solution. That is the finishing line for those in the homeland. That's why I believe in that. That I have 3 countries where it has happened, and on that achieved their country. Today, they are a sovereign nation in full force, which the UN has recognized many of them. Let's continue.
A formal declaration, whether it is a declaration of independence, a peace treaty, or a proclamation of amnesty, is often the only thing standing between a leader being viewed as a criminal and being viewed as a head of state. When a leader is in prison, they are under the legal jurisdiction of the power that arrested them. A declaration changes the entire game board in 3 critical ways. 1. Legal transformation, from traitor to statesman. Without a formal declaration, a freedom fighter is legally classified by the ruling power as a terrorist, insurgent, or traitor. The shift, a declaration of independence or a formal peace accord, creates a new legal reality. It acknowledges that the prisoner is no longer a subject of the old regime, but a representative of a sovereign entity. Amnesty. Most declarations include a general amnesty clause. This legally wipes away the life sentence, making it possible for the leader to hold office without a criminal record hanging over them. 2. Diplomatic recognition. The seat at the table. A leader cannot govern from a cell, and other countries cannot easily negotiate with a prisoner. Sovereignty. Once a country is declared independent, that leader becomes a personage of state. International law starts to protect them. Pressure. A declaration gives the United Nations or neighboring countries the legal standing to demand the leader's release, arguing that a sovereign nation cannot have its president held captive by a foreign power. 3. Moral and psychological legitimacy. For the people fighting on the ground, a declaration is the finish line. Validation. It proves that the leader's sacrifice, the years in prison, was worth it. Authority. It provides the mandate needed to transition from a rebel commander to a civilian administrator. For example, when Nelson Mandela was released, the declaration of a new democratic framework was what ensured he wasn't just out of jail, but was the rightful authority to lead the transition. Why the life sentence specifically matters. When a leader is sentenced to life imprisonment, the ruling power is trying to bury the movement by removing its head. A declaration acts as a resurrection. 1. It admits the old law has failed.
Yes, we have a caller. Yes, so you're the one.
You know,
Good
all my
afternoon.
brother.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon from my end. Good afternoon, dear friends all over the world. Good afternoon, dear man, dear man. Another dawn of spreading the gospel. Today's edition is another boom, another bombshell. Honestly, I don't know. People got to know about these things. The only thing that can deliver all this stubborn brain in Biafra, all these messages that you are dropping, they are all bombshell. And when the engage at the call at the no koyama highest, call on the koyama with the highest. Today's school is another bombshell. You know, I so much love that part. That's why I'm the mayor hashtag. In fact, honey, don't 4 cardinal points like you know them. Anthony will know, but I so much love that particular one because no one will need to eh? Oh, can you pay her what about this one? Oh, no one, name and grand. Are you hurting your territory? Now you can see it. Decoration. That's the declaration which me and you voted, and we have achieved that on the 29th of November 2024. With the finish line. And we were before and attack end point.
Yes.
Now on again finish line. Eh? That's the finish line. Even men on ground. Agbarono that the declaration is the finish line. That honestly, and again, he says that if a leader that is arrested by the country you are fighting to leave is under the country's jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Only declaration. We get save that leader because that declaration will cover the leader with international law. That declaration. Now, Nigeria, how they were very stubborn themselves. You know?
Yes.
They know all of these things. But somehow, they will still go against it. Just like they went all the way to Kenya to commit international crime. Not today, wow.
Yes.
No international country is calling them to justice. Up till today. Udinya President, all the countries that signed the treaty, this treaty with Nigeria. You know, extra ordinary rendition treaty.
Yeah.
Yes. All of them to clean on Nigeria's neck because of this international crime. If they went against what then themselves supposed to protect. They went against it. But this type of heinous crime stand there in Nigeria. Even for the other they can command a devil from Nigeria.
That is true now. That is where they're from.
Honestly, because I don't get it. Because the way that initial 2021 to adopt. Everywhere was like Nigeria has entered into mess. We were just watching to see how international people use the international law to bring this nonsense unity down. At least bring them to court, to international they hack or wherever their court is. You know, bring Nigeria to the heart to answer queries, just like they did with Omar Odiku.
It's only USG will do it. No other one to do it for us.
But you can see that this thing, what they committed is international
law.
They went they went against international law. But anyway, thank God. We still come back to this end point declaration. Thank God for that declaration. Because here with the finishing point, here with the finishing line, here with the end point, here with everything. Now, our government has passed this law to protect this voluntary
sit at home.
Sit
Yes.
at home. Ndị na-enwekwa nke ha na-ebutukwa propaganda against it. But what Agwai did there, Yeah, food for the gods. Or everybody can understand it
Yes.
anyways. Not everybody can understand it. So people should not expect one Ishocha to do otherwise. One Ishocha will do like what she knows how to do best. Mocking and making mess of herself. So thank God that they went at this height, passing that bill to protect the seat at home. So, Mazi,
Yeah.
this declaration now, with these 4 cardinal points, my people, you will understand that USB is the only government that is holding all the documents pertaining this declaration. What does that tell you? USB is the only way forward. USB is the only legit government, so long as far as this Biafra quest is still ongoing, as far as this Biafra quest is concerned, USB is the only way forward. Any message coming from elsewhere is null and void. Null and void.
That's what it is.
So as time goes on, people will understand why USB have come to stay and why USB is the only legit government that will save Biafra. We are nearly there. And we will finish it. Thank God that Agunwa is that type, that kind of leader that when you look at her, you think you can suppress, come into her and confuse her. She's that type that stands gidibam, like Mazi Simon Ekpa will always say. Do not look at this face. This face will deceive you. And true, that face, that baby face, deceived all of them. All our oppressors, even the baby sabus, the puppets, all of them. Nobody knew what Mazi Simon Ekpa is made of.
Yes.
Until 2021.
No, there's somebody who knows. Obasanjo said you are arresting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu.
That is 2021.
Yes.
Yeah, I said that until 2021. Obasanjo first said it. Now the main cocoa are out there free. And true, people should understand that Obasanjo statement. Even Obasanjo IPOP used it against Mazi Simon Ekpa. Now, hey, you see, Obasanjo is supporting him. Obasanjo is supporting him. He's an agent of Obasanjo. Is this? You see, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said when Nigerian politician is supporting is supporting you or in line with whatever thing you are doing, that means you are their agent. That means you are working for them. They did not understand that line, that statement, until it starts happening. That's why you wear the break. No break.
Yes, sir.
No break. A car that knows, a driver that knows where the route, knows the road perfectly well. With the speed because no obstacle on the way. No obstacle. People were like, Man, Simon Ekpa, if I say you are not doing it well, I am a liar. But
Yes,
you are
I am a
wrong.
madman.
But oh, he's a madman.
Yeah, he's a madman. Yes, he.
But his problem, I will again, you are running too fast. One day, I want you to go carry a man, Simon Ekpa. We want this Biafra today and tomorrow. We don't want all of us that is shouting Biafra, Biafra will come and go before the Biafra. Now, this Biafra will surely come in our time.
For sure.
In our time, that's exactly what we are praying for. Somebody who's only this speed will not do the thing. What can mother want to see this Biafra? Ojira kaya hazie things before ndi shina de ma bia haziere ya. Imagine this Biafra, if it comes in our own time, Mazi Simon Ekpa, of course, definitely will be the first president. First. Because he has said it. Mazi Nambikalo is that type that doesn't leak his vomit. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
Because he has said that openly, except people of Biafra will force it on him. Otherwise, because he has said it, that he is not going to be any president or he's not fighting to become the president of Biafra. No what a riverine area. That is where there is river.
Yes.
He said it publicly in the broadcast.
Yeah.
You know? So, my dear people, we want somebody that will be very, very fast to get this Biafran completely. Mother, if I say you are not doing it right, you are a liar. It's just that you are running too fast. Sabon TK.
Everywhere.
Sabon TK.
Yes.
You talk, and still talk against yourself. You want Biafra, but you don't want it to come faster. What then are you looking for? So, my dear people, my dear children, thank you so very much again. It's another bombshell analysis and document. God bless you.
Thank you so much. I want to thank you for always being here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. We move. Thank you. Yes, the people of Biafra, this is our own time. And the government always following the timeline or repeating the histories of many countries in the past who has been able to achieve their country today. And this is why I myself strongly believe, with all the evidence, fact and figure of what the US government is doing, that they are on the right track, that they are doing everything that will give us what? Biafra. Now, among all this group, who is the one that make this declaration that changes the legal status? Who is the one that make that declaration that we get us international recognition? Who is that one that make declaration that we allows UN to talk that Biafra, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has become a prime minister of a country, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, a president of what? A country. Please, I ask you, who did that? Who is that person? If not one and only, Dr. Ngozi Arabeze, that repeated the histories of other countries in the world. Let's continue listening.
2. It nullifies the life aspect of the sentence because the legal system that issued the sentence no longer has power over that person. 3. It turns the prison cell into a waiting room for the presidency. Would you like to see the specific wording used in a famous declaration, like Kenya's or South Africa's, that led to a leader's release?
I hope you had other countries. That is why when I look at our people and what they are doing, that's why I ask them, Please, IPOB, tell us that one country that because of their name is IPOB organization, one family that leads to UN to approve them as a country, or they use bridging without declaration, and UN come and said, "Oh, you are a country. Go on. We support you. You are a nation." Just give me an example of one. Like I said before, give me an example of that country or that's a group that their leader was arrested. They refuse to move forward, rather they fall back and remain one place. Just one. What of people like Magahandi and all of them? What of Jomo Kenyatta's? There is what of Nelson Mandela? What of Rahman of Bangladesh? What was the thing that they bring them out? Now, listen to this.
It seems we're zeroing in on the exact magic words that turned a prison cell into a presidential palace. The wording in these declarations is never accidental. It is carefully crafted to allow the old government to save face while giving the new leader total legitimacy. Here are the specific, history-altering phrases used for Nelson Mandela and Jomo Kenyatta. 1. South Africa, the Unconditional Declaration, 1990. For decades, the apartheid government offered to release Mandela if he renounced violence. Mandela famously refused, saying, "Prisoners cannot enter into contracts." The breakthrough came on February 2, 1980, when President F.W. de Klerk stood before Parliament. The wording was the key. I wish to put it plainly that the government has taken a firm decision to release Mr. Mandela unconditionally. I am serious about bringing this matter to finality without delay. Why these words mattered? Unconditionally, this was the most important word in 20th century African history. It meant Mandela didn't have to take back anything he fought for. Finality. This signaled to the world that the old life sentence was legally dead. 2. Kenya. From Darkness to Stability, 1961. The British had previously described Jomo Kenyatta as a, quote, leader to darkness and death. To release him, they had to completely flip their vocabulary. In the official announcement of his release in August 1961, the British governor's declaration shifted the focus to the future of the new country. I have decided that he should be released. Kenyatta should be allowed to return to his home. This is a step toward constitutional progress and the unity of all people in Kenya. Why these words mattered? Constitutional progress. By linking Kenyatta's person to the Constitution, they made him the face of the law rather than an outlaw. Unity. This word rebranded a rebel as a unifier, which is the primary job of a president. 3. The universal language of freedom. In almost every declaration that releases a freedom fighter to become a president, you will find these three specific concepts. 1. Amnesty, legal forgetting of past crimes. 2. Sovereignty, the declaration that the old laws no longer apply. 3. Mandate, the recognition that the leader has the support of the people. Summary of the golden phrases. Leader, the golden phrase, the hidden meaning. Mandela, release unconditionally. The prisoner won, the government yielded. Kenyatta, constitutional progress. He is now the law, not a lawbreaker. Gandhi, political prisoners. They aren't criminals, they are rivals. A quick correction/clarification. Greater than while these declarations led to their releases, the Declaration of Independence usually comes after they are out of prison. The release is the opening act, and the Independence Declaration is the grand finale that makes them president. Since you've been asking about the Declaration of Independence, would you like to see how a document like the US Declaration of Independence or Zimbabwe's explains the right to break away from an old government entirely?
Jews said it's not only us. Like I have said it 1,000 number with things I find out. That the only thing that's released all these leaders, you have mentioned their name here, is what? When they was arrested, the people they left outside, the people that believe in some ideology, did what? They continue to push and make declaration. From that mandate of declaration, their leader was released that declaration has given them power, give every other country like UN power to do what? To recognize them as a sovereign state. That is what? That give them power to recognize them. That's why I told you that without this declaration, UN, no country in the world will accept Biafra as a country. No country will accept us as a country. That is why they say here that the declaration is the endpoint of you agitating and the protesting as a what? As a political, as a mere political movement. Do you understand it? This is what the world values. This is how the world sees everything. I want you to understand it clearly. You that believe in USB to stand strong where you are, that you are on the finishing line. You stand on the at the end point. You are no longer into endless movement that has no end. But our declaration as the finishing point, our declaration as the end point of a movement is all that we needed at this stage. And this declaration is what changes every leader status that who was arrested as an inciting terrorism, inciting insecurity. They see him as a traitor. They charge him terrorist. They charge him treason. They charge him felony. All this charge. What neutralizes it is what? The declaration of that new country. The leader is fighting for nothing more than that. You, IPOB, can you ask a question? How did the people of Namibia got their independent freedom from hands of South Africa? You, IPOB organization, how can you ask? How did Eritrea got their freedom from Ethiopia? You, IPOB organization, can you tell us in which history, in which law, that what we are doing is going to give us Biafra as a country and the UN can come and recognize us? One thing that is very important is what? Constant change. I want to play this particular area for you. Let me just bring it. The issue of the US Declaration of Independence and Zimbabwe. I know I want to play it. The declaration, for you to understand the importance of this declaration, that it has happened before and it's still there. The law did not see us and change, no matter how corrupt the world it is. It can take us time. Nothing good comes easy. Nothing good, everything good comes with sacrifice, that sometimes you get tired. Remember that Nelson Mandela, people fought for him. It took 27 years he spent in prison. 24 good years that he spent, 27 good years that he spent in prison. People stand and fought for him. Can you to see how they compare the declaration of America and Zimbabwe, and in which years? Listen to this.
Both the United States, 1776, and Zimbabwe, 1965, used their declarations to do something very bold. They argued that breaking the law was actually the legal and moral thing to do. To a leader sitting in a prison cell, these documents are the ultimate get-out-of-jail-free card because they claim a higher law than the one that put them in chains. 1. The U.S. Declaration, the right to overthrow. When Thomas Jefferson wrote the U.S. Declaration of Independence, he wasn't just making a speech. He was writing a legal defense for why the American rebels weren't actually criminals. The key phrase, whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, It is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government. The prisoner's defense. This wording argues that the king, the one who would arrest the leaders, had broken a contract with the people. Therefore, the leaders aren't lawbreakers. The king is the lawbreaker. 2. Zimbabwe's unilateral declaration, UDI, the right to survival. In 1965, the situation in Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe, was different, but the logic was the same. They used a unilateral declaration, meaning they didn't wait for permission. The key phrase: the people of Rhodesia have always shown their unswerving loyalty and devotion. And whereas it is essential that Rhodesia attain independent status, the prisoner's defense, they argued that independence was essential for the preservation of justice. By calling independence essential, any leader arrested for fighting for it could claim they were performing a necessary duty, not a crime. 3. These documents open the door. If you are a leader arrested for treason or sedition, these declarations change the definition of those words. The old government says, the declaration says, you are a traitor to the crown. I am a patriot to the new nation. You violated the statutes. I followed universal human rights. You belong in prison. I belong in the presidential palace. The final status flip. The reason these documents are so powerful for a prisoner is found in the conclusion of most declarations. They usually end with a phrase like this: as free and independent states, they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances. The power to conclude peace is what gets the leader out of jail. The old government realizes they can't have peace unless they negotiate with the leader they just arrested. To negotiate, they must release him. To release him, they must recognize the declaration. A fascinating fact: Nelson Mandela actually studied the American Declaration of Independence while he was a young lawyer, and later while in prison. He used its logic to argue that the apartheid government was illegitimate, and therefore had no right to keep him behind bars. Would you like to see the specific amnesty wording used in the South African transition that legally wiped away the life sentences of thousands of freedom fighters at once?
I hope you listen. I want to take this word. They must release him. To release him, they must organize the declaration. The declaration. The declaration. That is why I am overjoyed. I'm happy that I am on this path that stand on the mandate of the declaration. What has given other countries in the past? What makes their leader to be free? What changes their status? That is why we need to pay attention into all this. Like I said, I don't want this program to be so long because of those that have medicine letter. I want you to understand the importance of this our royal declaration. Now, can you see how important it is? Can you see the weight? Guys, that this declaration is everything that gives us Biafra as a country. That this declaration, now I know why what OBS said, until we declare and have this paper document, this document of declaration in our hand, despite that we are just making noise in social media, which is truth. That is why the world called you a male political party. There is no two ways. Now that we have this government that are here for us, you have had it, how they compare the United States of America declaration and the one of the Zimbabwe. Could you imagine? And the same way, one day, they are going to compare our declaration with one country in the future. That is how they are going to compare our own history, our own declaration with other countries. And we are going to be here. When it happened, had I known, will be your part. I am only trying to remove you from had I known. But you continuously saying with the had I known. Do you see that they said that in Kenya own, that the declaration is remove the darkness that seizes the country, that leads to Britain to release, UK to release their leader. That is what they did. What are you doing? Where are you getting all the things that you are doing and what you think? Now, in all these countries that they have freedom of their country today because of the declaration, how do you think it's not going to work for us? Well, like I said, I'm going to play this message again after this. I'm going to shut the program down. I want you to know, like I said, if you're no longer getting my notification on your phone, because we have created a WhatsApp group where we share message once. So if you have been getting it before and you just send hi on WhatsApp, then the admins will add you, so you can also be getting the message. And also now we are also putting all these documents in our WhatsApp group, so you can read by yourself. We are putting all these documents to our WhatsApp group. So as I finished, so you can read on your own and find out what is truth about USD government, about the declaration, why you must stand on the United States of Biafra declared by the leadership of Ngozi Arabes and all the cabinet members. Listen.
A formal declaration, whether it is a declaration of independence, a peace treaty, or a proclamation of amnesty, is often the only thing standing between a leader being viewed as a criminal and being viewed as a head of state. When a leader is in prison, they are under the legal jurisdiction of the power that arrested them. A declaration changes the entire game board in three critical ways. 1. Legal transformation, from traitor to statesman. Without a formal declaration, a freedom fighter is legally classified by the ruling power as a terrorist, insurgent, or traitor. The shift, a declaration of independence or a formal peace accord, creates a new legal reality. It acknowledges that the prisoner is no longer a subject of the old regime, but a representative of a sovereign entity. Amnesty. Most declarations include a general amnesty clause. This legally wipes away the life sentence, making it possible for the leader to hold office without a criminal record hanging over them. 2. Diplomatic recognition. The seat at the table. A leader cannot govern from a cell, and other countries cannot easily negotiate with a prisoner. Sovereignty. Once a country is declared independent, that leader becomes a personage of state. International law starts to protect them. Pressure. A declaration gives the United Nations or neighboring countries the legal standing to demand the leader's release, arguing that a sovereign nation cannot have its president held captive by a foreign power. 3. Moral and psychological legitimacy. For the people fighting on the ground, a declaration is the finish line. Validation. It proves that the leader's sacrifice, the years in prison, was worth it. Authority. It provides the mandate needed to transition from a rebel commander to a civilian administrator. For example, when Nelson Mandela was released, the declaration of a new democratic framework was what ensured he wasn't just out of jail, but was the rightful authority to lead the transition. Why the life sentence specifically matters. When a leader is sentenced to life imprisonment, the ruling power is trying to bury the movement by removing its head. A declaration acts as a resurrection. 1. It admits the old law has failed. 2. It nullifies the life aspect of the sentence, because the legal system that issued the sentence no longer has power over that person. 3. It turns the prison cell into a waiting room for the presidency. Would you like to see the specific wording used in a famous declaration, like Kenya's or South Africa's, that led to a leader's release?
The question I ask you, what is that thing that you are doing as IPOB that will lead to Mazi Khan to be released and become a free man? What is that thing that we are doing as a fallback? What is what you are doing in BGC without this declaration? That is a everlasting solution, and it's also the end finishing line. That is end point of all the endless agitation and the protests of over all this that end us for being seen as a rebel. This declaration that becomes the key of other countries and UN to talk about Biafra is what you want to deny from us. I am sorry. It's undeniable. And we have come to take the mandate by ourselves. So my people, we are going to drop the curtain here until you come back tomorrow. The one thing that I want you to understand here is what? That the only key that will change, that's already changed the state of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu Ekpa, is our declaration. This declaration document. That is the highest thing that we have. That is the highest thing we have achieved. That's why you must appreciate anyway Tongozo Rabeze. Keep on praising her. Keep on praying for her. Keep on supporting the USB movement, because that is only government you have. Among all the 75 SI governments in the world, it's only United States of Biafra is in that history curriculum. That is only USB is the only government in SI you have, no other one. That is only SI government you have. So please, my people, we must continue. Because of my time, we're going to end it up here until we come back tomorrow, and next tomorrow we're going to have our full time. We're also going to send message to the world for them to that Nigeria has bought a chemical weapon that is more deadly than any gun and bullet in the world. The Nigeria was also a member of the agreement that Nigeria should not buy it. So the world must investigate in this message that's coming out about Nigeria buying a gas VX. This gas, this chemical can, if it touches on ground, in the next 10 years, no human being will live in that area. The world will send a full message when we write the headline that we bring all their flags and all the UN to ask Nigeria to go down and investigate, because someone who sent that message is proving something. And also, I believe that by tomorrow and the next, we are going to also, the videos I saw, I don't know exactly where I saw the video about the Islamic court in Akwa Ibom. Also, that message needs to go viral. So I thank you for being here. I see you, Edith. I see you, Chido Emmanuel. You come there today. I see you, Jeffrey. You are welcome. Thank you so much. I see you, Obuefi. Oh, sorry, I see you, Obenna. Thank you so much. Mama Great, thank you so much for coming back after the network or we had a little bit problem in the beginning and make us to shut our first program down. I thank you all the way, meaning Biafrans. Let us remain focused, remain resolute. We are on the right track. United States of Biafra, only the hope, the finishing line, the end point of long, endless agitation movement of IPOB, of any group. USB is the end point. It has all ended. In USB, we stand. No USB, nothing. USB or USB, that is where we are. Hairboard, my people, we move. Whenever you watch this program, please remember to like and share the program, please. I beg you to like and share. That is how people will get this message. We are doing message to sensitize our mind and educate ourselves that look at how the world sees what we are doing. Nothing else Nigeria knows how to do. It's only evil. That's all this Nigerian government has to. I want to also tell that the sit at home today was wonderful. The sit at home of today is another bombshell. You could have played, but because of my time, it will be tomorrow. So please, I thank you. May Elohim continue to bless all of us as we adhering on the instruction from the US government and supporting our government. May all that we will need to support this government never dry in our hand. May many open doors open for recognition as we are moving towards recognition. So on this junction, may Elohim protect us and guide us. He say, I thank you for being here. Remember, I am a citizen of United States of what? Biafra. Thank you so much, my people. I greet you. And from here, we move. We move. Thank you so much.